Because I mentioned the Quakes earlier on, that means I'm kind of obligated to actually show you a couple of examples. So the Quakes here are the term that I use to explain how the body can work along this process to start to release tension in the areas that the tension tends to accumulate. So one example is a firequake. So let's start from the beginning. So an earthquake would be the muladhara, so the kind of perineum release. And we work with that with some of the breath work. So the breath work where we start to bring in the Ashvini mudra. Sorry about all the sniffing, by the way. It's a little bit of a chilly morning, and the mucous membrane tends to react to that a little bit. So the muladhara is the area at the bottom by the perineum. It is the perineum region, and it's the area that can get tight, held subconsciously, very subconsciously sometimes, and store up patterns of experience. So we were using the Ashvini mudra, which is the anal sphincter contraction and release, to get a sensation, felt sense of that region. Then we were working with some of the genitalia contraction, so the perineum connection to the genitalia, and using that then as a way to get a felt sense of the region. And we combine that with a breath hold, then a breath release, and then a retention. So it's a sahita kumbhaka, whereby you're voluntarily and through intention holding the breath. Often with the muladhara region, if you get into a felt sense of it, then it's very common for kevala kumbhaka to begin. So the retention that isn't actually intended. So we can get a sense of the breath just being ceasing, not needing to breathe anymore. And this is where we can really start to feel the region, especially muladhara, at a much more sensitive level. Then we have the Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana, should we do that now? I'll show you an example of Svadhisthana. We'll need to turn this a little bit so you can see what's going on. I'll need to hold on to something, and this is be a ring in this case, and then lean forwards. So I'm coming into a position where I'm arching my back, I'm leaning backwards, and I'm breathing down into the area that's just above the pubic bone. You can feel that tremoring all the way up to the Vishuddha chakra, so the thyroid sort of region. Opening up the midline at the front, so the area from the pubic bones all the way up to the throat region. Very useful to do for a majority of the population who tend to go into too much flexion. I can tell that probably over the last day or two, or maybe the last 2 years or so, I've been flexing a little bit too much. So you can feel the release that's taking place when I adopt a different position. And that particular position is where I have support from both the ground and also above. So I'm getting support from my upper limbs as well. That's one quake, so that's a water quake in this case. Svadhisthana, the area that's well below the belly button but above the pubic bone region, involving some parts of the genitalia, tends to open, tends to tremor, tends to release a little bit, which is always a good thing, a very useful thing. And incidentally, yes, I said earlier that it's not fear, it's not anxiety, it's not worry. It can involve all those things, but they're now not being reacted to or disguised or pushed away. They're being released. Like the fear is the jewel in this particular example. The fear is releasing. It's no longer something that you're having to defend against or, cover over, put into a coffin deep within your body somewhere. It can be useful to feel these emotions. Fear, anxiety, trepidation, melancholy, anything. If you're feeling it, you're not reacting to it, and it's tremoring through your body or it's vibrating through your body, it's no longer those things. It's no longer the fear. It's no longer the anxiety. It's a expression of your physiology, and it gets subtler and subtler and subtler. It becomes a part of your fuel, not the object. The object of that fear is no longer an object. You're feeling it as an intimate expression of the whole of your body. It's no longer any separate, consolidated, hidden, disguised area that's separate from the environment. The environment and this sensation are intimately related, working together, harmonizing. Okay, let's do a firequake. So a firequake's a little bit different, but very similar. Well, there are lots of different firequakes, but this particular firequake is one that tends to open up the Manipura regions, the area that we were talking about before. And yeah, useful to start to feel the sort of the grosser tremors. You'll see what I mean in a second. So we're not trying to get addicted to tremors at all. We're just feeling the tremors as a natural physiologic release. We're not needing to have them, but if they happen, then yeah, we're accepting them. Not even accepting them, we're realizing that this is an expression of the physiology and what nature intended. You know, wild animals do it on such a regular basis because they need to. They need to stay primed to the awareness of the whole of their body. If they're a bit nonchalant to it or a little bit, dissociated, they're going to be, eaten in the next 5 sort of minutes. Or if it's a lion, they're not going to feel relaxed and able to actually hunt for the prey or sense the prey. Okay. So one firequake. I don't know what I'm standing there for like that for. It's you can stand any. You can just like nice relaxed position. Feet together. So that is the attention sort of position. Take the arms up above your head. If you want to go into that position because you feel groovy and cool because of it, that's cool too. Or you can go into that position or that position. Doesn't matter. I like that position. Got used to it, I guess. Arms up above the head, and then just lean backwards. Breathing's important here, so don't hold the breath. You might find it starts to, mine has already, so it's the front part of the diaphragm starting to release already. Whoa, so good. Counter pose after one like that, it just helps to make the body sort of refresh into a more compliant position. And that's a fire pose, fire quake.